and it looked like Paige Bueckers has broken her silence about this matchup against Caitlin Clark.
I played a game against Caitlin in the W. Just what was it like? What was the atmosphere like today going head-to-head with her?
Yeah, it's fun. Anytime we can compete against each other. We're two competitors who just want to win and who have grown up to be playing against each other, playing with each other. So it's great, and the environment's great here. I feel like every game is just sell out, and so they have a great home court advantage. So overall, yeah, great environment.
Paige Bueckers, I'm gonna be real. You did your thing. You nice. You did your thing, but you're not Caitlin Clark. Let's just be clear. You're not Caitlin Clark.
And by the way, she is the best whistle in the WNBA. She hacked Sophie Cunningham and somehow was given as an offensive foul, and she fouled Caitlin Clark on a fast break. Caitlin went flying into the rim post, and the refs just ignored it.
This game was an absolute blowout. Dallas Wings didn't know what hit them. Everybody ate in this game. Let's just jump right into it.
Caitlin Clark just destroyed Paige Bueckers in their first professional matchup, and the final score wasn't even close. While the rookie Bueckers scored 21 points, Clark dominated with 14 points, 13 assists, and 5 steals in a 102-83 blowout that exposed exactly why one player is generational and the other is just good.
And for all this Caitlin Clark, Paige Bueckers comparisons, it's not a comparison. Paige Bueckers got a lot of work to do. She's a good player. She got a lot of work to do. She need to get her team to the playoffs. Once she get her team to the playoffs, we can holla. All you Angel Reese fans out there, once she get her team to the playoffs, we can holla. Until then, Caitlin came in and got the worst team in the league directly to the playoffs off the bat. Started out 1-8, went to the playoffs, man.
Paige Bueckers has been going through growing pains while she's been down there in Dallas. They have a 6-16 record, and they simply cannot figure out a way to get it done. Now, ultimately, she performed, man. She played at a very high level. She had 21 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds. She was shooting phenomenal from 3. Paige put up a good fight, but ultimately her team just fell short, man.
Your social media feeds probably told you this was going to be the battle of the century. 2 #1 draft picks, 2 generational talents, the rivalry that would define women's basketball for the next decade. But what you actually witnessed was a systematic destruction that revealed something the WNBA desperately doesn't want you to know. Here's what you need to understand about those numbers. Clark's 13 assists came with only 2 turnovers, meaning she controlled every possession like she was playing against high schoolers.
Let's look at these numbers, man. Caitlin Clark, 14 points, 13 assists. I scored in the game. I scored in the game, bro. Like, come on, man. Just magnificent passing. Only 2 turnovers. She's only had 4 turnovers total in the last 2 games. Really think about that. 24 assists to 4 turnovers in the last 2 games. Okay. Okay.
Caitlin Clark, I'm not joking when I say this. Caitlin Clark is Demon Caitlin's back. Demon Caitlin's back. Caitlin swats JJ Quinterly. Watch this here. She swats Quinterly. She screams in Quinterly's face. She then gets the ball, looks straight up, and throws an inch perfect pass to Sophie Cunningham for a layup. If she throws that pass 2 inches lower, it's stolen. 2 inches lower and that pass is stolen. Like, that is something that no other player in this league can do.
That's what we're talking about when we are referring to Caitlin Clark running the show.
Is this what Stephanie White needs to see? To finally say to herself, oh, all right.
But that's not the shocking part. The shocking part is what happened when the camera stopped rolling and how the league tried to bury the story. Your eyes saw a blowout, but what you missed was the psychological warfare Clark unleashed. Every steal, every pass, every defensive stop was calculated to break not just the Wings' game plan, but their confidence. And it worked. But there's something else about this performance that the WNBA doesn't want getting out. And if you're as obsessed with Clark's dominance as I am, smash that like button and comment Fever Frenzy if you're ready to see her take over the entire league.
New York Liberty, we can beat them. We already did. The Minnesota Lynx, we can beat them. We already did. We can beat anybody if we play in this Caitlin Clark style. That's just a fact. There ain't a point guard in the world that could mess with her at all. It's not even close.
The Indiana Fever dictated when they run like this. I don't believe there is a team in this league that can beat the Indiana Fever at all. Let's go. Hulk. Lexi Hulk coming down the right here. She's got the ball. She's going to take a step back, way downtown. Bam. She got it. She got it. She got it.
You're watching a player who missed games this season due to injury destroy someone who's been healthy all year. Think about that. Clark's been dealing with a groin injury that sidelined her for 5 games, yet she's still rewriting record books in her second season while making the Rookie of the Year candidate look ordinary. But here's what makes this even more insane and why certain people in the league are getting nervous. Your first clue that something bigger is happening came in the Fever's first half. 64 points isn't just a franchise record. It's a statement. This wasn't Clark trying to win a game. This was Clark sending a message to every veteran who spent her rookie year trying to humble her. And that message was received loud and clear.
The Indiana Fever beat the Dallas Wings 102-83. The game wasn't close past the first quarter. We're up by 1 in the first quarter, and that second quarter, we destroy the Dallas Wings in that second quarter. That second quarter, we're, oh man, absolutely bombing away. That second quarter, Aaliyah Boston, 7 points. Natasha Howard, 10 points. Caitlin Clark, 5 assists in a second quarter. When her assist numbers are high in a quarter, you know they're playing Caitlin Clark style basketball. You know they're pushing the pace, pushing the tempo.
I'm surprised Stephanie White didn't have a heart attack. I'm surprised she didn't bench all the starters coming out of the half. I'm glad she didn't. Seriously.
If we take the second half against the Atlanta Dream and the first half against the Dallas Wings, that is a 40-minute span of what looks like Caitlin Clark basketball.
But what happened next will show you exactly why some people want Clark to fail. Your media tried to sell you on a rivalry that never existed. They spent months building up this second-year star versus rookie narrative, suggesting that Bueckers represented some kind of challenge to Clark's dominance. Then you watch Clark systematically destroy that story over 40 minutes of basketball. But here's the part that should make you angry about how you've been misled. The efficiency numbers tell you everything you need to know. 13 assists with 2 turnovers means Clark wasn't just finding open teammates. She was creating opportunities that didn't exist until she touched the ball. That's the difference between a very good player and someone who transforms the game itself. But there's a reason why certain analysts won't talk about these numbers.
The playmaking. Y'all see the playmaking, bro? The backdoor passes. Come on, once the 3-ball start rolling again, y'all really in trouble. You see the post game posting up Lil Quinterly. Spin off of her, step back, midi. Y'all said she didn't have a midi. Okay.
When Caitlin has the ball, they are the best show in basketball. And it's easier for Kelsey Mitchell. It's easier for Aaliyah. It becomes easier for Natasha Howard if she buys in. It's easier for Sophie. It's easier for everybody. And then when you've got Ari McDonald, who showed today, by the way, that when Caitlin is off the floor, she can push the tempo too. That is exactly what we've wanted.
Caitlin Clark running the offense, being the innovator of offense, the distributor of offense for the Indiana Fever. This is exactly what we mean right here.
Remember, this is the same player who started the 2025 season with a triple-double against the Chicago Sky. 20 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists with 4 blocks and 2 steals in a 93-58 annihilation that served notice to the entire league. While other players were still shaking off the offseason rust, Clark was already operating at a level that made everyone else look like they were playing in slow motion. The historical context of what we're witnessing cannot be overstated. Clark, who averaged 19.2 points and 8.4 assists per game in her record-breaking rookie season, is now building on that foundation in her second year. Players who've been in the league for over a decade are watching a 23-year-old continue to rewrite their sports record books.
Caitlin Clark is now has the 5th most double-doubles with points and assists in WNBA history. All right, now to put that into some context, she's played 1 year plus into this season, and she's missed 10 games. Think about that for a moment.
Caitlin Clark has reached 200 points and 100 assists this season, the fastest to do so in a single season in WNBA history. Oh yeah, folks, this feels like last year, right? Caitlin Clark broke this record, Caitlin Clark broke that record, she hops into the top 5 here. Oh yeah. Today's game was at least that first half. Woo! Folks, just watch. Let me cook. Let me operate. That's what Caitlin Clark said.
Caitlin Clark showed why she's the best guard in this league. Caitlin Clark showed why, when you give her the ball, the Fever are the best show in basketball.
The psychological impact of that kind of sustained dominance goes beyond statistics. But here's what really exposes the dysfunction within the WNBA. This is the same league that spent Clark's rookie year trying to tear her down instead of celebrating their obvious meal ticket. Veterans complained about the attention she received, media members questioned whether she deserved the hype, and officials seemed to allow opponents to target her with impunity. They had the most marketable star in their sports history, and their first instinct was to try to humble her. The transformation of the Indiana Fever tells the complete story of Clark's impact. This franchise was a laughingstock before she arrived, the kind of team that fans used as a punchline when discussing organizational dysfunction. Now they're setting franchise records for scoring, selling out arenas, and playing the kind of basketball that makes the league's other 23 teams look like they're competing for second place. The way Clark's teammates performed in that Dallas game reveals another layer of her greatness. Kelsey Mitchell dropped 20 points on 67% shooting, Natasha Howard contributed 18 points with 2 steals, and the entire roster looked like they were playing with house money. That's what happens when you have a player who makes everyone around her better simply by existing on the court. The assist totals from that game should have been the lead story on every sports broadcast. 29 team assists, just one shy of the franchise record, with Clark responsible for nearly half of them. She's not just scoring. She's elevating her teammates' games to levels they never thought possible. The ripple effect of her presence transforms role players into legitimate contributors and good players into stars. What's particularly galling about the treatment Clark received during her rookie season is how it contrasted with the league's desperate need for stars. The WNBA has struggled with visibility and relevance for its entire existence, and then a player comes along who can single-handedly change that narrative. Instead of embracing their golden goose, they let jealousy and pettiness nearly destroy the best thing that ever happened to their league. The financial impact of Clark's presence cannot be ignored. Games featuring the Fever have become must-see television. Attendance has skyrocketed wherever she plays, and suddenly, the WNBA has a player who can command national attention without needing manufactured controversy. The league's television ratings when Clark plays versus when she doesn't tell the whole story about who's really driving interest in women's basketball. The defensive impact Clark showed in that Dallas game added another dimension to her already overwhelming skill set. 5 steals don't happen by accident. They're the result of a player who understands the game at a level that allows her to anticipate what's coming before it happens. She's not just beating opponents with her offense. She's disrupting their entire game plan before they can execute it. The way Clark controlled the tempo of that game exposed another weakness in her critics' arguments. They used to claim she was just a shooter who benefited from college hype, but what we witnessed was a player who dictated every aspect of the game's flow. She decided when to push the pace, when to slow things down, and when to completely break the opponent's will with a sequence of plays that left them questioning their life choices. The most damning aspect of that Clark versus Bueckers matchup was how it revealed the media's role in creating false narratives. They spent months building up this rivalry, suggesting that Bueckers represented some kind of challenge to Clark's dominance, and then we watched Clark systematically dismantle that narrative over the course of 40 minutes. The Emperor had no clothes, and everyone pretended not to notice. What makes Clark's performance even more impressive is the context of the Fever's recent consistency issues. Coach Stephanie White had been talking about the need for her team to string together quality performances, and Clark responded by orchestrating one of the most dominant displays in recent WNBA history. She didn't just meet the challenge. She exceeded it in ways that left no doubt about who the real superstar in this league is. The psychological warfare aspect of that performance cannot be overlooked. Clark wasn't just beating the Wings. She was sending a message to every team in the league that this is what they're up against. The casual way she racked up assists, the effortless nature of her steals, the complete command she had over every possession. All of it combined to create a performance that was as much about intimidation as it was about basketball. The shooting struggles that Clark experienced in that game actually make her performance more impressive, not less. She went 4 for 12 from the field and 2 for 7 from three-point range, yet still managed to completely dominate the game through her playmaking and defensive impact. That's the mark of a truly elite player. Someone who can control the game even when their shot isn't falling. The way the Fever's offense flowed through Clark in that game provided a blueprint for how modern basketball should be played. She wasn't just getting assists by making the obvious pass. She was creating scoring opportunities through ball movement and player movement that made the Wings defense look like they were playing a completely different sport. The sophistication of her approach revealed layers of basketball intelligence that most players never develop. The ripple effects of that performance extend far beyond one game. Other teams now have to game plan specifically for Clark in ways that they don't for any other player in the league. The attention she commands opens up opportunities for her teammates that simply wouldn't exist otherwise. She's not just a player. She's a force multiplier who makes everyone in her organization better. The timing of Clark's emergence couldn't have been more perfect for the WNBA. The league needed a star who could transcend the sport and bring in new fans, and they got a player who not only meets that criteria, but exceeds it in ways that should have made everyone in the league office grateful. Instead, they got petty jealousy and attempts to diminish her impact. The way Clark handled the pressure of that first matchup with Bueckers showed another dimension of her character. She could have been satisfied with a good game, but instead, she delivered a performance that left no doubt about who the superior player was. The killer instinct required to not just win but to dominate in that situation separates champions from everyone else. The defensive adjustments that teams make specifically for Clark reveal how much she's changed the strategic landscape of the WNBA. Opponents have to account for her shooting range, her passing ability, and her court vision in ways that compromise their entire defensive scheme. She's not just beating teams with her individual talent, she's forcing them to play a style of basketball that favors her skill set. The media's reaction to Clark's performance in that Dallas game was telling. Instead of celebrating one of the most dominant displays in recent memory, many focused on Bueckers' 21 points, or tried to downplay the significance of what we witnessed. The reluctance to acknowledge Clark's greatness says more about the media's biases than it does about her performance. The future implications of performances like this one are staggering. Clark is still early in her career, yet she's already operating at a level that makes her the unquestioned best player in the league. The gap between her and everyone else isn't just significant, it's growing. Other players are going to have to fundamentally change their approach to the game if they want to compete with what she brings to the court. The way Clark's teammates responded to her leadership in that game provided a glimpse of what the Fever could become. When role players start playing like stars because they're inspired by their leader's example, that's when good teams become great teams. The championship window in Indiana isn't just open, it's about to be blown wide open. The statistical milestones that Clark is reaching at her current pace will require record books to be rewritten. Her combination of scoring, playmaking, and defensive impact is unprecedented in WNBA history, and she's achieving these numbers while dealing with the kind of physical attention that would derail most players. The durability required to maintain this level of performance under these conditions separates legends from everyone else. The cultural impact of Clark's dominance extends far beyond basketball. She's become a symbol of excellence and perseverance in the face of unwarranted criticism. Young players watching her career are learning that the best response to doubters is to perform at a level that makes their criticism look foolish. That's a lesson that transcends sports. The way Clark has handled the transition from college to professional basketball should serve as a template for future stars. Instead of being overwhelmed by the pressure and expectations, she's embraced them and used them as motivation to reach even higher levels of performance. The mental toughness required to thrive under that kind of scrutiny is rare in any sport. The irony of the WNBA's initial treatment of Clark is that they nearly sabotaged the best thing that ever happened to their league. The player who was supposed to save women's basketball was being attacked by the very people who should have been protecting her. The short-sightedness of that approach could have cost the league its best chance at long-term relevance. The way Clark's career is unfolding suggests that we're witnessing the beginning of a dynasty. The Fever have built their entire organization around maximizing her talents, and the early results suggest they found a formula that could dominate the league for years to come. Other teams aren't just competing against Indiana, they're competing against history in the making. The legacy implications of performances like the one against Dallas are enormous. Clark isn't just building a resume. She's creating a standard of excellence that will define how we evaluate players for generations. The combination of individual dominance and team success she's achieving is the blueprint for what a transformational superstar looks like. In the end, that 102-83 destruction of the Dallas Wings wasn't just a basketball game, it was a statement. Clark wasn't just beating Bueckers. She was demonstrating why she operates in a completely different stratosphere than everyone else in this league. The WNBA spent her rookie year trying to tear down their golden goose, but what they failed to realize is that true greatness can't be diminished by jealousy or pettiness. It can only be recognized and celebrated. The question now isn't whether Clark will continue to dominate, it's whether the rest of the league will finally embrace the gift they've been given before it's too late.